And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the eToro YouTube live session. This is actually the first session ever where we have one representative from every office around the world. So we're just going to go ahead and introduce everybody. But first, I want to say that we're going to be leading today with cryptocurrencies, and then we'll talk about the other boring interest rate hikes and ECB and Fed and all that stuff. So starting from the left, we have Ahmad in our Cyprus office.
Hey, everyone.
Dennis is our regional manager in Germany.
Hi.
Gennady is in our Russia office.
Hi, everyone.
Matthew Newton in the UK.
Hello, everyone.
And Toby in China.
Hello, everyone.
So, cool. Topic on the agenda, price moves. The markets are finally exciting again. A lot of media are talking about a hack on CoinRail that plunged the market by, plunged the price of Bitcoin by $1,000 per coin. Fairly skeptical that the CoinRail hack is what actually caused this movement. So we're going to try and get into it and see what exactly happened there and what might be next and what can you do about it. So who wants to start?
Yeah, I started reading comments on the German channels as well. Bitcoin is dead. Long live something else. So
what was the something else?
I don't know. So Marty, is Bitcoin dead? That's what everybody wants to know.
Bitcoin has been declared dead a total of 3,673 times.
I didn't know you have a counter there.
We've got a clicker. The media likes to call Bitcoin dead. It's got it gets headlines, a nice clickbait title. But we can see that Bitcoin volumes are around $5 billion average per day over the last week. So that's not small. That was the first time we ever hit those type of volumes was in November, so just before the December hike. So though the volumes may seem low compared to what we've been getting since the beginning of the year, it's still, I would say they're still quite elevated compared to historically. And if you look at the blockchain, we're still seeing a transaction rate of about 2.5 transactions per second. So no, definitely not dead.
Great.
I see on, sorry, Dennis, I was just checking 99 Bitcoins to see what the official count was for the obituaries. We're at 300 on the nose.
300.
300, yeah.
Where do you see a Bitcoin dead counter? I'd like to see this.
You've never heard of Bitcoin obituaries?
Bitcoin obituaries? No,
Type that into
Google.
Right, yeah, Bitcoin obituaries, the official count of how many times Bitcoin has died. Been going for quite some time now.
I'm pretty sure it's a lot more than that.
We should advertise on that side.
we are. we have a flashing banner on it right now. So
okay, great.
Yeah, our marketing team are on top of that one.
Now, the next question my people have in my region, Marty, is like, okay, we talked about the death question, now about the birth question. What about EOS? When is it going to come out?
Yes, that's what everyone is looking for.
Okay, so let me clear the air on that. It's pretty simple. So EOS was done as an ICO over the last year. And the mainnet launch was on June 1st. And what does that mean? So the mainnet launch, the ICO happened on Ethereum. And anybody who bought the ICO is now holding an Ethereum-based token, which is known as an ERC20 token. So on June 1st, they did a snapshot of everybody who was holding those tokens. Okay, and then according to that snapshot, as soon as the mainnet is launched, then they will divide the EOS tokens according to that. So anybody who trades one of those Ethereum-based tokens right now is not going to be included in what the snapshot was taken. So if let's say I was holding 10 EOS tokens, and then I sell them to you, Dennis, you buy them from me, I'm still going to get my 10 EOS tokens, and you're going to be SOL.
So can you give me back the ones I sold you this morning?
Well, we'll have to talk about that a bit later on. But so there are a few exchanges actually who are trading peer to peer, and what the exchange basically does is they're saying, okay, we'll keep a record of all of those trades, and then we'll settle them once the EOS goes live. However, there isn't any liquidity from one exchange to the next exchange, so that's why you'll see the price difference on some different exchanges is going to be very large, and the volumes are going to be very small. And whenever you have a market where there's only a very few participants, you can see that there's price distortions, let's say, and we obviously don't want to open up our clients to any of that. So we're just going to make sure that we wait until the EOS mainnet is launched, the price is stable, we see liquidity flowing from exchange to exchange, and then we can launch it and open it up in a safe and stable environment.
Awesome that you explained that.
How long do you think it's going to take until people are able to trade EOS again?
That's an excellent question. It was supposed to happen a few days ago, but they're taking their time. There's a Telegram channel I mentioned in the daily a few days ago where you can actually track their progress and their announcements. But there's a lot of different places you can check. I'm not entirely. It's impossible to say. From my view, let them take their time, right? Let them test their, make sure that they've got all the bugs out, let them make sure that they're completely stable platform, that there's no security loopholes or whatever before they launch it. Even if it takes, for me, even if it takes a month or 2 months, it doesn't bother me at all, as long as they release a stable product at the end of the day.
Yeah, and they also, it's the vote, isn't it? So they've got to get through the vote and make sure 15% has gone through. Is not the case for ad as well.
Exactly, right. They're holding votes, I think, once every 24 hours, is it, or 12 hours?
Not 100%.
Yeah, in any case, once it goes live, I'm pretty sure we'll know. In the meantime, there's been lots of news floating around, so plenty to keep on track of. But what I'm looking forward to most is to seeing how the network operates in action. And I think that we really won't get a good picture of that until about 3 months from now, really. We released a research paper on EOS a few weeks ago, and the conclusion that we came to is that we have absolutely no way of evaluating how much a coin should be worth, because there's no volumes, there's no transactions happening, there's no dApps being developed, nothing. So we really don't, any type of dollar per coin price that you'll assign to an EOS token is complete speculation. Now, you can say that the token should be worth $1, and somebody else might think that the token should be worth $1,000. Now, where's the truth? Somewhere in the middle, wherever two people or the entire open market is willing to come upon the price. And I believe that many people are saying, okay, if it's between $1 and $1,000, $15 ain't so bad, right? Because I have much greater chance of the token being worth more than I paid for it. However, the truth is we really don't know what it's going to be worth. So any type of investment in EOS has to be treated as extreme speculation, and obviously done with a very itty-bitty small portion of your total portfolio.
Okay.
Can we believe to this price on EOS countdown? It's now like $10.10 or something.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the website. Go ahead and put a screen share up, but I don't. I don't know. We can take a look at a few other sites. There's. I wonder if CryptoWatch has it. Take a look.
I'm on CryptoWatch. Ooh.
Do they have EOS? Because CryptoWatch is cool because it shows the prices across different exchanges.
Bitcoin's down to 6,375.
Oh, crack.
So hang on a sec, I'll get EOS.
That's another plunge right there.
This one, can you see it now? It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. EOS countdown. USD price $10. Market cap
what
$9
is
billion.
estimate? It's actually I couldn't understand it well.
Yeah. So their countdown timers at 0. I see.
Yeah, exactly. 3 days ago.
Yeah, voting in progress. Yeah, makes sense. I wouldn't know where they got that price from. That's the real question, is where are they getting that price? If it says on the site, that's cool. If not, then really.
Actually, on CoinMarketCap, it's 9.83 at the moment.
Yeah,
Okay,
957 on CryptoWatch for Bitfinex.
Yeah, so CryptoWatch does have it actually, and they're showing Bitfinex is 957, as you said, and BitHum at $10.10. Kraken, on the other hand, is at $9.59. So not as big of a spread as I was thinking, but there is a bit of a spread there. The main issue is that there's no reconciliation between exchanges. So any exchange that is trading it, it's only an internal trading, peer-to-peer. So look, we hope that the launch goes smoothly. And to me, even if we have to wait a week or 2 weeks or a month, as long as they release a solid product at the end of the day, I think we should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What else? We had that Bitcoin just dropped.
Yeah, it's broken through the low that was set back at the end of March, early April as well. So that was a pretty strong resistance or support level to break. And then, of course, we've got the February level around just under 6,000 back in February.
You want to put up the chart there, Matthew?
1 second.
I want to remind everybody we're live streaming on YouTube, so go ahead and leave a comment. We'll be able to see that here.
How do I do that?
There's a button on the left-hand side of your Hangout that says Screen Share, or it's a green button with an arrow. And then you'll do like an infinite loop, like Gennady just did.
Yeah, I got it up there. If you bear with me.
When eToro going to make crypto exchange like Binance? We're better than Binance, Suman. eosauthority.com/voting. Okay, so there's another way to check the EOS voting.
But let's take that up a little bit more. When are we making something like Binance? Look, we're working on it. We are the only regulated company right now, if I'm not wrong, where you can buy actual cryptos, right? So we're working with a regulator to give our customers the opportunity to trade cryptos between each other and with others and have a wallet. So when is it going to happen? We're now beta testing several functions, but it will take a little bit more time. So we don't have an exact answer as to when, but believe me, we want it more bad than you do.
So to the point, I believe the question is, when are we going to be able to start doing? So at the moment, eToro is offering cryptocurrencies as a way to put it in your portfolio for speculation and investment purposes. And of course, we recommend with that any cryptocurrencies, as they are a high-risk asset, should be maintained as part of a well-diversified portfolio. So you have your bonds and ETFs, stocks, indexes, and commodities, currencies, everything like that. And then you have also cryptocurrencies.
Okay, Matti, I have to one time just do something for our online customers. If I get in trouble, let me know. I'm doing a live mobile phone screen share of our beta test, so people believe us that we're actually testing it, right?
Oh boy.
Nice one.
So
good man, Dennis.
This is going to go out viral now, I hope.
Yeah, this is the first look. Yeah, I'm testing it as well. At the moment, it's only available on the eToro Wi-Fi, and then we're gonna release it to customers once we see that it's working well. Obviously, with a product like this, we need to make sure that security is airtight, right? So we're not going to release anything that might have any sort of flaws. And of course, we want to make sure that the customer experience is very smooth. So this is why, look, our CEO Yoni, he basically announced it to the world as we started building it. So I can understand how the anticipation is kind of building up over here.
Oh, we
Yes.
announced it earlier than that.
Right, like we're going to build this, okay?
We're going to build
it. It's still being built as Dennis just showed you. I'm on the trial as well. There it is. And as look, Dennis, I don't want you to be the only one getting in trouble over here, right? If we get in trouble for showing that.
Now,
right on.
but we are supposed to talk about other markets as well, right? So,
oh yeah.
What else we have on the crypto before we move on to some other interesting things and opportunities?
Yeah. Go for it.
I have a question, Mary,
Tell me.
about ETC. Why did
Okay.
why do you think they chose especially ETC out of all the cryptocurrencies to add it to Coinbase before Ripple, before anything else?
I
They've
can't
got some
really
backers.
speculate on what Coinbase is doing. I do believe that there was another exchange that also had news about ETC recently, where they were introduced ETC pairs, so you could trade ETC against altcoins or whatever. I think that simply there's look. What I can tell you is how eToro makes these type of decisions, and maybe that will give you insight about
Yes,
what
even better.
another exchange might be doing. So the way that we see these things is we have to measure, first of all, the demand, and second of all, the supply, right? So cryptocurrencies is a no-brainer. Anything that we announce that has to do with cryptocurrencies, any new products, we're going to see a huge demand. The question is the supply. Are we able to get supply from a steady source, or more, are we able to get it from several steady sources? So this is known as liquidity, because as I said, we have a huge demand. So if we open a new cryptocurrency, we're going to want to make sure that we can actually meet that demand with enough supply. So Ethereum Classic has been around the market for a very long time and is increasing in distribution. And there are several key providers of Ethereum Classic that are relatively stable businesses, and they can provide that type of supply on demand. I believe that's very likely the reason that we're seeing excitement around it. As well, Ethereum Classic has moved away from Ethereum in that it's not being as much used as a platform for development of decentralized applications and ICOs, and they're moving more towards the store of value cryptocurrency. So in that, I can understand what the excitement is about. Go ahead.
It's a good thing. That's a good way of saying that there's nothing going on in their blockchain and in their community.
Yeah, I'm holding myself very little Ethereum Classic in my portfolio, but
they've got some big backers behind them, don't they? I always see Barry Silbert's tweeting about Ethereum Classic or any news about that. So there's obviously a few people pushing it around the market, I would say.
Yeah, when I spoke with Grayscale, they were incredibly excited about Ethereum Classic.
Grayscale are all over it.
Yeah, and well, it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. So, and it's not. It's also not an experimental project.
Yeah, and I think when we look at Coinbase and their charter and what they look to in terms of criteria for the adding cryptocurrencies to their platform, Ripple really don't tick an awful lot of the boxes on there. So they would have to really sacrifice what they put in their charter, and that's a bit of an issue for them as well, because they are missing out on a huge part of the market, and a lot of their competitors are making serious returns from the extensive choice of cryptocurrency. And maybe that was one of the big reasons why they bought, I can't remember the name of the the decentralized exchange, but they bought that company where you can have peer-to-peer ERC20 tokens between wallets. So that's really maybe their way of saying, yeah, we'll expand our offering for our users, but we won't actually sacrifice what we have on Coinbase Pro. It'd be interesting to see if they buy any other exchanges or any small operations where they can offer more choice to their users.
Interesting. I see you got a gnarly chart of the euro dollar up there.
Yeah, just I suppose it might be coming up, so I was just thought I'd drag it on.
Cool. Let's do that in a second. I see there's a few questions here on YouTube I want to get to real quick because hi everybody, we are streaming live on YouTube. Question related to wallets. I received an email that the stop loss will be at 50% max for cryptos from the 1st of August. I think that's a very old statement. Actually, we don't have stop losses on cryptocurrencies at the moment.
May I answer something on that? This is a confusion about, there's a new regulation we started talking about also last webinar, that ESMA, the European regulator, has said, they basically said that non-professional customers, like retail, normal people, clients, will have for all their CFD positions like a maximum stop loss set to 50%. So that means it is not relevant for real assets like cryptos, like stocks or ETFs that you buy on our platform. However, I believe that it will be affecting if you basically do a short position. I'm not sure, but I think it will have to also get to a 50% stop loss on the short positions. So only CFDs are affected, not real assets.
Right. Right. So that means that if you've opened up your crypto position within the last 6 months, you should be okay. It's only for very old positions, or if you have if you're selling short, if you have a short sell on the market, that could be affected as well. But definitely ask your account manager, and if you're ever unsure, also go ahead and open up a ticket with our customer support. They're extremely friendly and very helpful. We have another person asking, when will eToro be available for U.S. citizens? Very, very soon. That's the best answer I can give you at the moment, and it is accurate. eToro has any plan to add more coin within the next half a month? I do believe so. No spoilers, but we do have a few cryptocurrencies that we are looking to add as soon as we can. Another question, XRP and Ethereum are the most promising cryptocurrencies. That's not a question. But I appreciate your opinion there. Yeah, crazy to use stop losses on crypto. Just don't use leverage. I agree, Kostadin, 100%. Matthew, take it away. Why don't you tell us about what's happening tonight with the Fed and where's the play on the euro dollar?
Well, we're expecting a rate hike, aren't we? So I think it's bringing it up to about 2%, if I'm not mistaken. Is that all right? I think it's 2 anyway, but we're expecting a rate hike, but I think that's priced in. So what a lot of traders and investors will be looking for to see what is the rate of change, what's the view on the economy, and when our subsequent rate hikes going to come in. So I think that will be the key driver with the euro dollar. We saw around here, this was when the euro started to lose a bit of the strength. However, we've seen that return. There certainly seemed like there was a bit of a forward guidance on on this week's policy meeting with Draghi. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the real play this week. What will the European Central Bank announce? Will they start tapering QE, or will there be any messages from Draghi, because he so far has not really waded into the conversation, but their chief economist did set a few hints last week. So while tonight will be important, of course, we know there's a rate hike coming, mm-hmm. but what will the future rate hikes be with the US? And then later in the week, what will the ECB say?
Right. So for those of you playing at home, we do have the FOMC decision is coming at 7 p.m. UK time, which will be followed by a press conference with the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell. 30 minutes after that, so that's 7:30 UK time. The United States is expected to raise their interest rate from 1.75% to 2.75%. Now, usually, when there's an interest rate hike, the effect will be stronger dollar. However, as Matthew's saying, it could be priced into the markets already. It could be that Jerome Powell has basically indicated already that this is coming to the point where traders are already considering it as if it's already happened. So the bigger question is, what will be Jerome's indication at his press conference? How many more times are they going to hike their rates this year? Is it going to be another one time this year or another 2 times this year? And then furthermore, what really matters is down the road, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, what do they think will be the interest rates? And then obviously, how do they see the economy? And then, of course, tomorrow we have the European Central Bank. And the European Central Bank, we do expect a lot more action because, as you said, Matthew, we have some forward guidance where Mario Draghi is expected to announce the end of quantitative easing. I actually put out a tweet about an hour ago showing the total supply of euros, like just on this curve like this, meaning they've been just introducing more and more euros into the system, which is one of the reasons why cryptocurrencies are so incredibly exciting, is because nobody, there's no Mario Draghi sitting at the top making that decision when to print more, when to print less. We have a relatively fixed supply, and that's decided by Satoshi Nakamoto in conjunction with the open market and the.
But I challenge that. Just imagine the euro would move like the Bitcoin. Like one day you can buy a pizza for it, and the other day you can buy an island for it, right? So I appreciate Mario doing his job, so we can still buy normal things for normal prices. Right.
Well, it would be pretty terrible, I think, if Bitcoin tomorrow just replaced all fiat currencies. I think we'd have a bit of a crisis on our hands.
It depends on how many you're holding.
Right. So what I like to see, the way I like to look at it is that Bitcoin provides another asset which is separate from the rest of the economy and the rest of the fiat. And actually, in that sense, it can serve to strengthen everything, strengthen the entire global economy, as it provides an alternative where people can hold their assets.
Draper was pretty bullish on them again yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Tim Draper. Fiat currency will be dead in 6 years or something, he was saying. We'll all be using crypto.
In 6 years.
Talking about other assets, Matti, I'll jump back to it because, you know, I love other assets as well, right? As I always urge my account managers to urge their clients to diversify their portfolio. And we had a chat yesterday, Matti and I said, Matti, so if people would invest like they would buy other things like cars or laundry machines or TVs, right? You know that would be maybe not a bad idea. Remember that, Matti, right?
Yeah.
I said, okay, so if you go and you want to buy a car, you're checking the different specs of the car, and then you go to 5 different dealers to get the best discount and the one that gives you 2% off, right? Deal done, right?
Yeah.
Now, when people look at long-term portfolios, I urge them to do the same. Like if you know you have a good company, like let's say Google, Amazon, Netflix, or whatever that we know will survive because everybody's looking at them on their phone now every day 50 times or more. We're now waiting for buying it at a discount, right? We want to get a discount. So what I prepared for the audience now is just some ideas, which is not an advice. So I'm showing several, and you have to do your own homework on that. Where I go look at different stocks and let's see what we can do as a kind of 1 second. I have to.
You showed me one specifically yesterday. It was a Chinese stock. Maybe we can ask Toby about it.
I'm trying to go to that now. Where do I share my screen?
What was it? And it's on the left of the Hangout. second button from the bottom.
The problem I have 3 screens, so there we go. I have to decide which one.
No, I don't
That's-
think
So
There you go.
so I'm sharing now the screen, and for example, this NetEase, right? Now they do online games. Sorry, it's in German here and in Chinese. So they do online games, web-based communications, interactive content in China, and so on and so on. Right now, you look at the analysis, which is an amazing feature that we give our customers, where you go, okay, right now you can buy it for $257, and the target for this stock that analysts, not me or Marty or eToro, says is if it goes down, it will go down to 240, and if it goes up, it will go up even 400 almost, right? So I'm going, this is something to put in your long-term portfolio with no or low leverage. If you do no leverage, you're actually a shareholder of that actual asset. So that is something where you currently have a big discount, right, compared to the predicted value. But I was looking at some German companies because I'm from Germany. Yeah. Heidelberg.
So,
everybody knows Heidelberg Cement.
I put some of that into my portfolio right after our conversation. I went and put $500 in. So, Toby, can you tell us what NetEase does and how big they are in China?
And it's very big, like game company for online, and now they are just enter the mobile, the mobile game. It's very popular in China, and I think it's just like we know that Alibaba, Jingdong, we have a name to this 4 company called BATJ.
Okay.
They are big. They are big 4, and maybe and the NetEase is I think is the 5th one.
Wow. So and that's what I'm saying. It's right now at a discount price of 20% off compared to the beginning of the year.
This company, I suppose they just buy like a Unico company, I think, and it performance not very good. So I think maybe it's the reason why it's dropped too much.
So they bought another company that wasn't doing so well.
Yes.
So, but they are like a gaming company, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. Online gaming, competitive gaming, esports is like a big thing in China, right?
Yes.
Like.
But
I think
for what it's worth, I was actually looking at NetEase last week, and I'm kicking myself now for forgetting about it. Just to give a bit of context to that, I had a client who pulled out of in the game, and it was not a small sum, and it was purely over NetEase, and I was just thinking to myself, "Oh, relax." It was as the stocks were starting to turn as well.
Totally. And now, not to tell you to buy or sell it, I have to tell you other stocks as well. Otherwise, people would say, you're advertising one stock and it's an advice. So I'm not advising you. Now I'm going to a Heidelberg Druck machine, which is, Heidelberg Cement is like a big company that produces cement in Germany, right? Concrete. Now they have a spin-off, which is Heidelberg Druck machine, which means printing machines, which nobody buys printers anymore. So they have had a problem, and they have had very bad numbers over time. And as you see, they had like 2 discount coupons right now launched, right? But at the same time of the plunge, as you see, we're trying to create a hammer here. At the same time, yesterday they announced a new product, which is a retail customer electronic car charging station made in Germany with German components by German machines, right? So the analysts are going like, this is something that could just turn around this whole company's history, because if that takes on fire, obviously this thing is going to rocket. It's a future market. So why the stock went down anyways, because the investors are looking for a faster turnaround. As we know, many of the investors in German stocks are coming from the US, and they're kind of like like go faster, right? So but I think this is something where you also have a discount right now, as I call it. Another one is Commerzbank, which is the second largest bank in Germany. Now, they here is it started. We're looking at Italy crisis, right? So Italy, Spain, they're invested in a lot of loans to Italy and Spain. As you can see, it was affecting them a lot, this whole crisis. Now, however, they are set in Germany as one of the best customer-facing banks. That means no matter where you are in Germany, you can always go and find a Commerzbank. So I think they are right now also at a very good price to build your long-term portfolio.
Interesting.
And the last one I want to mention is the German post office, which you see I'm invested and I'm losing money on it. I bought it too early, right? But
whoa,
this is a post office, right? Now,
my lord, what happened there?
Exactly. It looks like I actually don't investigate really what happened, but as you see, went from a nice uptrend over years, and it does it sometimes. And it just goes bye, right?
That's ridiculous.
Now, this is some homework I would like our listeners to do. Look up what happened there and why they are so in the red. Now, but there's a high intrinsic value of the German post office. Right, like
so that's the question. Whenever you deal with these type of things, is that how much trouble is it in, and is the German government going to bail them out? I mean, because the German government loves to hand out money to companies and countries who are not doing so well.
Yeah, but for example, Commerzbank, 10% is owned by the German government, right? So they have a vested interest there. Now. And the post in the normal trendy subjects like Bitcoin, you always have the is Bitcoin going up, or the sky is the limit, or oh my God, Bitcoin is dead, right? This is like, but here we actually see that sometimes with very interesting data that people have on the actual assets. Now, here in Postbank doesn't look like it's so popular yet, but I'm just saying you can do a lot of homework with us, but you can obviously then also go somewhere else. But I want to stress people saying, look, if you're or if you're investing in coins and you're doing stocks somewhere else, I give you a reason. This is my sales advertisement I always have to do in this hangout is. At eToro, you can actually buy stocks without any ticketing fee that you have normally at banks. Like if you buy stocks at Deutsche Bank or Commerzbank, you normally add like 50 euros just for buying one stock, or 100, doesn't matter how many, but you have a ticketing fee and you have a depot fee, which we don't have. So just as an advertisement for us, move your stock portfolio to us, save some money, and see it online live.
Right.
Yeah,
so
worth pointing out for the UK
take your money out of Deutsche Bank and put it into eToro and buy a Deutsche Bank stock.
Yeah, worth pointing out that there's no stamp duty on UK shares for eToro clients as well. So similar to what Dennis is saying, we're covering that. They just got to pay the spread. Yeah, UK shares without stamp duty.
Okay.
Exactly. So I know that many customers use eToro for crypto or for high leverage, short-term trades. And I often find my account managers saying, look, you like eToro, you like the platform compared to your graphical user interface where you're currently holding your stock or fund portfolios, and you go, you can't even find out what they're worth, and you don't even know what's the cost going to be. So there's literally several clients now moving the entire portfolio to us. So
so Matthew, you were on Twitch with Lena Beers, with One Girl, one of our hottest users on eToro.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what she said as well. It's like, look, I didn't even know what I was holding in the bank. It does give me my bottom line. So here you can really look at your holdings and see the way that your portfolio is allocated and make adjustments accordingly. I think that's what Dennis is trying to highlight.
I was going to ask Dennis, is Deutsche Bank at a discount?
So
I've got Deutsche Bank.
Yeah,
Now,
everyone,
as you
everyone
see,
got it.
Deutsche Bank is at a discount, but Deutsche Bank is a bit bigger than $11 a share right now, right? Now you're looking at the Deutsche Bank in the US.
Yeah.
There's another Deutsche Bank listed in Europe where it's
Yeah.
about 12 times the price per share. So, yes,
What's
they
the
are on a
difference?
discount. Different exchange. One is listed in Frankfurt, the other one in New York.
Right, but doesn't the performance of the bank itself influence the stock in the same way, or is there a difference in the dynamic?
There is a difference because they have different fields they are covering or different regions.
Oh, so hold the phone. When we buy the Deutsche Bank shares here, we're actually buying Deutsche Bank United States, which they're trying to downsize.
Yes.
Oh boy. I'm not so certain about that investment anymore.
But is the whole group is it the bank as a whole not under real pressure? I mean, I saw something, and I always wary of these types of headlines as from a contrarian point of view. But they're talking about it just being another Lehman at this point. What's your feelings there? What did the
Lehman
German
was a
government going to do?
surprise. Nobody saw it coming. Deutsche Bank, the government has enough time to step in and save them if they need to. Also, they're doing restructuring. I have no doubt that Deutsche Bank is going to be around in 5 or 10 years from now. And to me, they're probably going to be able to consolidate what they're doing, going to close out their service in United States and other places where they don't have a clear advantage, and then bring back to the German market and strengthen their hold there. That's what I think is going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years.
So just to make it clear, Deutsche is too big to fall, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the word. Too big to fail.
Now, I mean, there's a difference between Lehman and Deutsche Bank, right? If you look at the amount of savings account, current accounts, investment accounts, compare that to Lehman, the size of Deutsche Bank. So Lehman was not a current account bank for 80 or 50 to 80% of the US customers, right? So it's not the Bank of America. It's
right.
we're talking about a consumer bank that has a very large and risky investment arm. So what can happen that happened in Germany before? If an investment arm of a bank goes kaputt, which is a German word for broken.
we know.
So what did they do in Germany? They declare it as a bad bank, sell it to the government, and keep on going with the other side of the bank. That's what they do. That's what they did with West Landesbank, which is it's basically was a subsidiary of the central banks, which was then changed to not being central banks because the central bank system changed. So they had a bad bank arm which was sold, and they kept on banking with the rest. So if something happens to Deutsche, all the customers that have their savings and current accounts in Deutsche, that would be cut off like a arm that is need to be cut off.
Oh boy.
But I don't expect that to happen.
Cool. All right, what else? What other opportunities are you guys looking at right now?
I mean, pound continues to be weak. If you want to just touch on that quickly.
Yeah, what's going on over there? I mean, I keep seeing these headlines about voting and Brexit, and maybe you can give us some clarity.
Yeah,
so you're voting again.
Well, I mean, just very briefly, without getting too deep into it, they've been discussing what's really been topical this morning is Theresa May made a concession. So she's trying to pass through another bill through Parliament and has made a few concessions that they are reporting is going to stop the UK from crashing out of Europe. So ultimately, MPs are going to have the final say on any deal that gets put forth. So it's a bit conflicting because then David Davis came out and he said that, no, we're not going to do anything that will sabotage our negotiations. So it's a tricky one. But ultimately, the Theresa May is getting reported, for being weak again, for conceding to the pro-Euro Tories within the party. So there was a little bit of volatility after the news came out yesterday, but it was consistent with the trend anyway. So what's more important with the pound recently has been the data. So I think we touched upon it last time that Mark Carney was saying that while the Q1 data was bad, they still wanted to gather more data to really take a position and assess whether they need to raise rates or not. So in the last week or two, the data has been a bit soft. While there was bad manufacturing data out a couple of days ago, and there was inflation data out this morning. So the inflation data pretty much hit estimates, but it's not really it's not really going to support an interest rate hike. So that's what really drove the pound to those highs that we saw before. And then once that started to really filter away, we saw the pound getting sold off. There was a little bit of a bounce last week because we are seriously oversold levels, but cable has been under pressure again the last few days. Although I have been long GBP JPY for the last week and a bit, but I'll be assessing that one myself now because there's really I don't see anything that's supporting the pound right now.
Well, one thing that I wanted to say that the pound is a lot more stable than a lot of people might think. So I mean, this is the GBP USD chart, and the pound has been gaining in strength against the dollar, and then here we can see the dollar gaining strength against the pound, and over the course of April and May. However, if you move to the Euro GBP chart, you're going to notice something here. This is stability, right? So for better or for worse, whatever happens to the pound, the fate of the euro and the pound, at least as far as the currencies are concerned, they seem quite well connected to me.
But wait, let's wait and see what Draghi says on Thursday, because if Draghi says we're going to start tapering QE or something drastic with QE, then we may see the pound make a little bit of a move. I mean, this is the first time I've actually looked at Euro GBP in a little while. I have a bit of a range there.
Exactly,
so it is moving. Yeah, we'll wait and see. But the central bank policy always is going to move the currency, and let's see what happens tomorrow with Draghi.
For sure. All right, show us the pound yen. It's really one of my favorite pairs as well.
So, have you got it? Yeah. So, I mean, from my point of view, I thought there was a bit of a play there, just from a technical point of view, because the pound was oversold. There was a bit of yen strength from geopolitical stuff. So nothing too strong behind that one. It's up a little bit since I've entered, but it hasn't really gone anywhere, and I'd be worried that it's not really making any ground. So we'll wait and see. But what's nice about pound yen and any yen pair is you do get quite a bit of volatility from the point of view that there can be a lot of pips in a daily move. So the pound yen is has always been a nice trade, and it's still quite low historically compared to where it was a few years ago. So there's that trend upwards, but yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. There's no real indication of central bank interest rate hikes from the BOE, and that will ultimately drive it.
Yeah. Cool. I see a lot of comments online, but somebody, John Herzog, keeps posting and deleting his own comments. So I don't know what that's about.
GBP is going down. That's what John is saying at the moment.
The pound is going down? Not so sure. Not so sure. Look, I mean, historically, it's still pretty cheap, right?
Yeah. So yeah, and he's saying they're tapering already. What are we? Maybe I have it wrong. Are they talking about? Is it Draghi expected to halt it altogether tomorrow? Is that what he's saying, like a finish date?
Yeah. So the talk at the moment, or at least one of the ECB members, Prayat or something, I don't know how his name is pronounced, kind of gave some guidance saying that they were going to completely stop when the program ends in September. So What they've been doing over the last few years is every time the program ends, right, a few months beforehand, they'll decide if they're going to continue and if they're going to continue at the same pace. So they started out, I believe, if I don't peg me on the numbers, I believe it was like 100 billion or something. They moved down to 80 billion and 60 and now 30. And the talk now is that once the program is over in September, they're just going to cut it completely and not continue anymore.
Yeah.
At least that should stabilize the euro and not not introduce any more. The problem here is that, and this is what we've seen in the Italian bond market, is that the market has become really accustomed to the buying action from the ECB. Because when the ECB introduces new money, it's not like they're printing euro bills. As we know, they've gotten rid of the 500 note a while ago, and now it's even difficult to spend a 100 euro note in Europe. So what they're actually doing is they're going out to the market and buying bonds. So they're buying government bonds and they're buying corporate bonds and all of those other things. So when they stop buying those bonds, the question is the natural market or everybody else going to step in and start buying the bonds that the ECB wasn't? So, and this is what we saw in Italy, is that the month before, they actually reduced their purchases of Italian bonds. And this is why we saw that blowout, because there wasn't a buying pressure there, and even a small spat in in the Italian government caused enough selling pressure for the bonds to start tanking. And obviously when the bonds go down, the yields go through the roof, and that's why we saw those hockey stick charts that showed the Italian bond yields in the sky, and the spread between the 2-year bond and the 10-year bond was at astronomical levels. So I believe that this was actually caused by mistake by the ECB, who just kind of stopped buying. And this could also, maybe not even by mistake. Maybe they were just testing the market's ability to jump in and start buying in their absence. So I'm not so certain that they're actually, now that we've seen what happens when they don't purchase those bonds, I'm not so certain that they're going to cut it from 30 billion to zero. They might announce tomorrow that they're going down to 10, or that they're continuing at 30, or that they're going to zero. So really, I believe that all options are still on the table, and the meeting is tomorrow. So despite whatever happens with the Fed tonight, I think the real fireworks are gonna come tomorrow at the ECB meeting.
All right. So if you like the Nasdaq, we have our brand new copy funds.
Cool. Anybody else have anything? We got about 5 more minutes on here. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
Yeah, Mati, I would like to give a color about the ruble, and maybe we'll go further with Dahmat about the oil on this.
Yep.
Excellent. Matthew, pull up
actually,
of the ruble.
The great news, we have World Cup started, like tomorrow. So I don't think it's gonna affect the price, but
why not?
So it's actually what's happening now. We had this new sanction in the beginning of April. I will share the screen right now. Give me a second.
Well, Matthew's got the chart up.
Here it is. So we actually could see let's measure it. It's something like 8.5% up for 2 days in the beginning of April. Yeah, for all the time since then, we have oil prices actually supporting ruble. But as for now, we have Ministry of Finance paying dollar against the ruble for their reserves. So I would say you can see these two levels about 61, 65. So it's going to be somewhere in here. And what the interesting thing about it, so compared to other emerging markets, we have central bank rate decision this Friday, and attention, we could probably cut it from 7.25. Not the raise of it, but the cut.
Wow. What's the interest rate now in Russia?
7.25.
7.25, and you think that on Friday they're going to cut it?
No, it's most likely it's gonna stay like this, but there is a probability actually.
Okay. Oh, that's even more exciting. So you're saying most likely they're going to keep the rate steady.
Yep.
However, is a ability of a surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. So actually, the markets react much bigger when there's a surprise. So, what time? Do you know what time the announcement is? The interest rate announcement?
Yeah, I will tell you just a second. It's half past 4 GMT. So have a look at it.
4 GMT, meaning 4:30 or 5:30 in the UK.
It's 5:30 in the UK, yeah, I believe.
Right, so 7:30 our time. Okay, definitely gonna be watching that announcement because I love it when there's a good surprise in the market. And if you're saying the market's not expecting it, but it might happen, that's a good indication of something to watch right there.
Yeah, and let's have a look at the oil.
If they do cut the interest rate, we see the dollar ruble going up, or the dollar ruble going down.
Yeah, it gives the port for dollar, but in this situation, I don't think it's probably going to happen as well because of Minister of Finance now and central bank as well. They're paying dollar. They selling ruble against the dollar for the reserves right now. So they find this level is quite comfortable for them. So from their point, I don't think it's gonna be a really good decision to play against themselves, actually.
Okay. So you think that the dollar ruble is most likely to keep the range then that it's in now?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
It's not gonna go like more than 65 for sure. At least for like 2-3 weeks. And of course, let's don't forget about the price of oil. So in case we are stable or going up again.
Okay. So maybe we should have done this backwards. Why don't you tell us about oil, and then we can see how that would affect the ruble. What's your expectation here?
Let me share my screen. Just a second.
Go for it.
Yes. So as you can see, there's this beautiful channel that oil has been building for about a year now that it recently went below that. The reason behind that, there's a lot of uncertainty on oil at the moment. At the beginning of the year, we were hearing that the OPEC and Saudi Arabia especially are interested in higher oil prices. They were talking about that their goal is to reach $80 per barrel at least. And then it was really supported here, exactly. It was really supported when the sanctions on Iran and Venezuela. So that actually supported oil pretty much. But as you can see, there was a major resistance here that caused a rebound. And after that, we started hearing that the U.S. is interested in lower prices since they are, I think, the number one
importer
for or consumer for oil. And then the OPEC and and Saudi Arabia started talking about covering whatever supply is missing from both Iran and Venezuela. So again, we saw the prices going down. Now, the real driver is going to be the OPEC meeting on the 22nd and 23rd of this month. They're going to discuss whether they're going to continue with the freezing and the producing cut, or they're going to actually increase that. So I think 22nd, 23rd going to be really important for the oil prices.
Okay, so we have to wait until. So that's still about 2 weeks away. Is it just going to stay flat in the meantime, or what do we look out for? I mean, are they going to start? Maybe we'll start hearing from OPEC members what their plan is, maybe at the June 22nd meeting.
Exactly, yes. I think it's going to go a little bit sideways until then, because again, because of the uncertainty and investors are not really sure what's going to happen, what's the outcome, unless we're going to hear something, a tweet from Donald Trump or something indicating something about oil. Russia, if they're going to indicate that they're going to increase their production levels. But if everything stays on what it is until the 22nd, I believe oil is going to keep going a little bit sideways in those levels between 64 and I would say below 67.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So we'll just keep listening for any sort of leaks or ministers basically saying what their intention is for the June 22nd meeting. But until then, we're in a holding pattern. I also wanted to point out on your chart, we definitely broke below that trend line. And actually, since then, it seems like we have a bit of a bearish flag, to be honest, right? Since we broke. Since we broke below that, right? We're testing basically that line here. Zoom in a little bit, like a few clicks. You'll see we're basically testing that line as a resistance, and that's basically created a bearish flag. So I don't know that as far as the technicals are concerned, it does look like a short.
I've been sending out a weekly report.
I'm short. It's not. It's underwater a little bit at the moment, but yeah, I'm short. We'll see what happens. The stop loss is not too far. It's a tight one.
Yeah, I think that at the moment fundamentals are being kind of stronger than technicals, as you can see here, beautiful technical basis. But at the moment, I believe news and fundamentals gonna be the main driver for oil.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that they're going to let the price collapse at this point, but yeah.
They've been working too hard for that, huh?
Exactly.
But the market will see. Even look, with this Venezuela, with cut of supply from Venezuela, Angola, and Nigeria, it's kind of, we can find even some reasonable increase of supply from OPEC decision or something, but still the market will see the actually negative in this for the prices. So any news about the freezing or let's say reasonable increase of supply is gonna be really drivers for down trades. So I believe it's good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Gennady, I'm going to put you on the spot again. You were saying that the price of oil is going to affect now the price of the ruble. Maybe you can explain that dynamic a little bit better for us.
Just before you do that, Gennady, I need to shoot off, Maddie, so I'm going to leave you guys. It was good to join you, and I'll catch you next time.
Thanks a lot, Matthew, and good luck in the conference today.
Cheers. Bye.
Yes, sure. Let me share the screen again. It's actually we're hugest one of the hugest importers of oil. So of course the prices of oil affect the ruble. I will give me a sec. Let's just put the chart of ruble.
Yeah. And then we'll sign off. I have one more bit of news, breaking news on cryptocurrencies that I want to share, and then we can sign off after that.
Yeah, so things, let's have a look. We cannot actually looking at this one because if I just told before, this was exactly the new sanction.
That was the big old spike we saw on the other chart.
Yep, exactly. And so on the normally it goes every time we can see the as soon as it's the oil every time it supports the ruble. So in case oil goes down. So in ruble, we'll see this, first of all, this resistance of 65. I showed you before, and then we can go up 67, 69 or something. If the oil like dropped significantly, let's say like if we're saying WTI should go like down to 60 or something. But we can see this. We will probably see this after OPEC, and in this summer, I believe we can see 60 or even a little bit less.
Okay, cool. So one more thing before we go that I wanted to share. This is something that I saw just before we entered the Hangout here, and this is specifically regarding Bitcoin. And I know that a lot of people have been questioning what's happening right now, where's the future of the price and everything. And this is something that I think that can actually serve to change the sentiment, and it has a really good potential. And this is India. And India, as we know, is the world's second largest country by population. And they're operating right now with very little cash, right? Because in December of 2016, or November of 2016, the country got rid of about 85, 86% of all of the cash in India. So since then, they've been using a lot of online banking and credit card transactions and everything like that. And the laws are basically in question right now and being debated. So the Central Bank of India a few months ago released a statement saying that cryptocurrencies should not be accepted by any banks or anything like that. And now that is being challenged in the court. So basically, the people of India and the companies that are dealing with cryptocurrencies are taking the central bank to court and saying that you have no basis for making that making that decision. And here it is right here. So right now they're doing probes into why the RBI, why the central bank made that decision. And what they're finding is that they made this decision with very little market research, that they're not being straightforward on answering the questions that the court is asking them legitimately. Now, mark your calendar. The date is July 20th. On July 20th, the Supreme Court of India is going to hear the case, and I do believe that leading up to that hearing, we're going to get a lot more clarity about which way the Supreme Court might be leaning. And obviously, around that date, either on July 20th or shortly after, we could be getting some decision making regarding what's going to happen over there in the crypto market. And to me, this can be the tipping point, because Wall Street is building the infrastructure into cryptocurrencies at the moment. They are setting up liquidity channels that are ready to buy. However, when the market is falling, they're not going to step their toe in the water yet. They're just going to wait on the side and let the market just kind of build up by itself naturally. So what we saw in 2016 leading into 2017 was a demand from emerging markets. We saw, demand from China, from other countries, where they were looking for an alternative to fiat money and buying Bitcoin naturally because they needed it. Right now, we're seeing that play out in Venezuela. However, if we get India involved and we see a large surge, an uptick in volumes from India, that could send this entire thing through the roof. With that, I say thank you, everybody, for watching, and let's have an awesome day.
Bye-bye.
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 Usual disclaimers apply. This is not considered trading advice, and past performance is not an indication of future results. Cryptocurrencies are not regulated by any financial supervisory, not in Europe and not in anywhere else, and they can fluctuate widely and are high risk. I believe that's all the disclaimers. Have an awesome day.